Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to Project Trinity Weekly Podcast. Yeah, talent is universal, opportunity is not. Somewhere right now, there is a young person with a skill, the drive, the raw talent to compete on a global stage. But no power, no internet, no pathway to prove it. And somewhere else, a company is looking for exactly that talent, willing to pay for it, with no idea if it even exists. That gap between talent and opportunity is not a small problem. One third of the world still doesn't have reliable internet access. But what if that gap could be closed? Not with charity, not with a one time donation, but with infrastructure, real, physical, sustainable infrastructure, solar power, satellite connectivity, and AI native training installed exactly where the world said it could not reach. Karibuni wote, and welcome to week this week's Project Trinity podcast. I am Valerie Jeruto, and today we are not just talking about opportunity. We are sitting with two people who are a living proof that it can be built brick by brick, connection by connection. Today's conversation is about Project Trinity as an infrastructure, how we are installing global economy access in communities the world had written off, and how ordinary people are becoming AI native digital operators, delivering real work for real clients from places most people have never heard of. Joining me today are two voices who represent both sides of the story. First, we have someone who has lived this transformation from the inside, from our very first day inside a pod to delivering real client work. Today, please welcome Mercy Jepto. And also alongside her, we have someone who understands the architecture behind it all, the systems, the model, and the vision that makes this possible at the scale. Please welcome Maximila Kacherian. Mercy and Maximila, welcome to today's podcast, and please introduce yourself to our guests so that they have to know who you two are. Welcome.
Hello, good evening, Kenya and Haiti. I'm Mercy Jepto, and I welcome you. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for taking a few minutes to join this conversation. Today, we are exploring topics that matter to our lives, our communities, and our future. Whether you are listening from home, at work, or on the go, I hope today's discussion gives you something meaningful to think about. Let's get started. Follow us in Facebook and YouTube. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maximila Gacherian, and I am a Project Trinity associate passionate about using technology and innovation to create meaningful opportunities. Through Project Trinity, I am part of a mission focused on empowering talent through digital skills, global access, and economic participation. Today, I am excited to share how Project Trinity is bridging opportunity gaps and helping community connect to the global economy. Welcome to today's podcast.
Wow, that's amazing. Mercy and Maximila, thank you both for such a great introduction. I know now our listeners know who you two are. Yeah, so let's dive into our today's conversation. So let's start right where this story starts, with a gap and a question nobody thought to ask you before. What if geography didn't have to define destiny? Yeah, so let's start with you, Mercy. Mercy, when you first heard the phrase, talent is universal, but opportunity is not, did that resonate with your own story? What was your opportunity gap before Project Trinity?
So, when I first heard the phrase talent is universal but opportunity is not, it really resonated with me because it's something many of us have experienced. There are so many talented people in our communities, people with creativity, intelligence, and a willingness to work, but they simply don't have access to the opportunities that allow those talents to grow. Before joining Project Trinity, my opportunity gap wasn't about lacking potential. It was about limited access to global networks, the right technology, mentorship, and meaningful work opportunities. Like many people, I knew I had something to offer, but I didn't always know where or how to connect with opportunities that matched my abilities. What Project Trinity has shown me is that when you remove barriers and create access, talent begins to shine. It reminds us that success isn't only about what you are capable. It's also about whether someone opens the door for you, and that's why creating opportunities is just as important as recognized talented. Thank you, Valerie, for that question.
Wow, that's powerful, Mercy. You've just described what Project Trinity was built to close. Because to our listeners, maybe who have joined us, who are joining us for the first time, Project Trinity is not just a training program looking for a use case. It's an infrastructure built specifically for the gap you just described. So, Max Miller, let's zoom out from Mercy's personal experience to the bigger picture. So, from where you sit, where does that gap actually look like structurally? Like what's missing that stops what's that missing or what stops these talented people like Mercy from participating in the global economy?
Okay, Falari. The opportunity gap is not a lack of talent here, uh, but across underserved communities, there are many people with incredible creativity, intelligence, and determination. What is missing is the infrastructure that connects that talent to opportunity. Reliable technology, professional work environments, mentorship, skill development, and access to global networks. The challenge is not that people cannot contribute. The challenge is that many have never had the system required to participate. That's all about what stop talented people from participating in the global economy.
Wow. So we have the problem exactly defined by Max Miller, what just Max Miller said. We know that talent is everywhere, but access is literally nowhere. So, but problems like this doesn't get solved by accident. There is an origin story here, and it starts with two things happening in the world at exactly the same time. So, Mercy, take us back. How did you first hear about Project Trinity, and what made you take it seriously instead of dismissing it as too good to be true?
So, looking back, I first heard about Project Trinity through people who are sharing its vision of creating opportunities for community that are often overlooked. At first, I was curious, but like many people, I also had questions. Sometimes, when something sounds very promising, it's easy to think, is this really possible? That's the question I was asking myself. But what made me take it seriously wasn't just the words, it was the action. I saw people who are genuinely committed to serving communities, investing in people, and creating real opportunities through technology, training, and meaningful work. It wasn't about making empty promises, it was about building systems that help people grow. That gave me confidence. I realized Project Trinity wasn't offering shortcuts to success. It was offering a chance to learn, contribute, and become part of something bigger than myself. And that's what convinced me it was a real. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing, Mercy. That skepticism makes a total sense because sometimes something that's too ambitious should not sound too good to at first when people hear it at first. So also to our listeners right now, yeah, I'm also asking you a question. When was your first time that you heard about Project Trinity? Want to see them in the comment section. Yeah, just write the year, the month, something like that. So Max Miller, let's get Max Miller help us to understand why it wasn't why when you first hear about Project Trinity, it did not feel that it was true. So maybe can you walk us through the actual origin of Project Trinity? What two global shifts made this event possible in the first place?
Okay. Project Trinity was made possible by two major global shifts. The first was the rise of remote work, which changed the way the world views talent and proved that people can contribute globally regardless of location. The second was the rapid advancement of technology, including artificial intelligence, satellite connectivity, and digital platforms. And these changes created a unique opportunity to bring global economy participation to communities that were previously disconnected. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing, Max Miller. And we all know that Starlink makes this connectivity possible. And this remote, people knowing about this remote, it was also as a result of COVID that made the world prove that people can work remotely. So, and we all know that that's the moment these remote jobs, working remotely, became more than an idea. Yeah. So, but an idea needs a physical form. So, and that form is something we call a pod. That's portable online development system. So, to Mercy, describe the first day you walked inside a pod. What surprised you about the setup, the power, internet, and also the workspace itself?
So I still remember very well my first day walking into the Project Trinity pod, and that's where we were guided by the Generation Kenya. Honestly, I didn't know exactly what to expect, but the first thing that stood out was the environment. It was organized, professional, and built for people to focus and do meaningful work. What surprised me most was having reliable power and fast internet. In many communities, those are things we can't always take for granted. Instead of worrying about power outage or unstable connections, I could focus on learning, collaborating, and getting work done. The workplace itself also made a big difference. It wasn't just a room with computers. It was a place that encourages productivity, teamwork, and growth. It gave me the feeling that I was part of something bigger, something something preparing people from local communities to work and connect on a global level. That first day made me realize that when you provide the right environment, people don't just work better. They believe more in what's possible for their future. So for me, I say Project Trinity to the world.
Wow, for sure, Mercy. Project Trinity to the world. Yeah. Let's comment in the comment section Project Trinity to the world. We want to see them rolling. So, Mercy just describes what it feels like to walk into one. So, Max Miller, let's pull back the curtain on what's actually inside it. actually inside the pod, and why we insist on calling this something bigger than internet access. Can you explain what's actually inside a pod, and why you'll say Project Trinity is not only about bringing the internet, but installing economic access?
Okay, Valerie. A pod is more than a place, as you said, with internet connectivity. It's a complete professional environment designed for learning, collaboration, and production. Our pods are solar powered, satellite connected, workspace equipped with technology and systems needed for people to develop skills and deliver real world solutions. Um, we are not simply connecting people online, we are creating the pathway for them to learn, work, and earn. That's more about the pod.
Wow, that's amazing. Installing economic access. That's what Project Trinity is actually doing. And that phrase actually matters because access alone is not enough. When you only have the access, I think that's not enough. What people do with that access is where the real transformation happens. And that starts with how we train, because here at Project Trinity, when you join us, you first start with us training you, then you acquire the skills to work with the global economy. So before we move on, if you are listening right now, drop a comment. If a pod like this existed in your community tomorrow, what's the first thing that you will want to learn or build with it? We are ready to read every comment. So tell us, what is that runs into your mind that it will be the first thing for you to learn, any skill that you learn at first or to build. Yeah, we'll see them, we'll read line by line in the comment section when to those comments to keep rolling. So Mercy, let's now walk to training in the AI era. So Mercy, walk us through what your learning part actually looked like. How is training with AI embedded different from a normal course on a classroom?
For me, the shift happened when I realized that the work I was okay. For me, the shift happened when I realized that the work I was doing wasn't just an exercise anymore. It was creating real value. During training, you are focused on learning new skills and building confidence. But there comes a moment where you are trusted with real responsibilities, and that's when everything changes. My first real project felt exciting and a little intimidating because I knew there were real expectations. It wasn't about getting a grade, it was about delivering quality work that someone else would rely on. That experience taught me the importance of communication, meeting deadlines, paying attention to details, and working as part of the team. Looking back, that first project gave me confidence. It showed me that I wasn't just preparing for opportunities anymore. I was already contributing to them. That's one of the things I appreciated most about Project Trinity. It helps bridge the gap between learning and meaningful work, so you are not just gaining knowledge, you gain real world experience.
Wow, we all notice that Mercy did not just describe sitting in a classroom waiting for a syllabus. She described something personalized, adaptive, and moving at her pace. So Max Miller starts That's by design. So, how does that individual learning path fit into the bigger model? Why did Project Trinity build this as a continuous, self paced system instead of one training program?
Okay, we believe that growth is a continuous journey. Um, a one-time training program may provide information only, but it does not always create long-term capability. Technology changes every day, so associates need a system where they can continuously learn, improve, and adapt. Our self-paced model allow individuals to develop skills at their own level while preparing them for evolving opportunity. That's it.
Wow, wow, you just outlined that a one-time program is not enough. So here at Project Trinity, we all know that a one-time program, like now when you go to a school, a college, there is a limit, like there is a graduation date, and when you are graduated, then you are done. But what Max Miller is describing is not about that. Here at Project Trinity, when you join Project Trinity, everything is built to keep going because, let's say, in an AI economy, learning never really stops. You have to learn. There is new things coming each day, and you have to adapt to the changing of the economy or changing of this technology. So, and for Mercy, at some point, that learning turned into something real. So Mercy, when did it stop feeling like training and start feeling like a real job with real clients? What was that first real project look like for you?
Okay, so I can say like this. For me, the first shift happened when I realized that the work I was doing wasn't just an experience anymore. It was creating real value. During training, you are focused on learning new skills and building confidence. But there comes a moment when you are trusted with real responsibilities, and that's when everything changes. Thank you.
Wow, that moment, that the shift from student to producer is one of the most important transition in the entire model. So Max Miller, how deliberate is that handoff? How does Project Trinity structure the handoff from a learner to a producer, or associates are doing real projects based work, not just simulations?
The transition from learner to producer is one of the most important parts of the Trinity model because we believe skills alone are not enough. And many people can complete courses and receive certificates. But the real challenge is creating an environment where they can apply those skills, solve problems, and gain experience working on meaningful projects. And at Project Trinity, associates move through a practical pathways where learning is connected directly to production. After building our foundational knowledge in areas such as artificial intelligence, software development, cybersecurity, and digital tools, they begin working on real-world assignments where they collaborate with teams, receive mentorship, and contribute to solutions that have actual value. The goal is to move beyond simulations and create a professional who understand how work happens in the real economy. Associates learn how to communicate with clients, manage deadlines, work as part of a team, solve challenges, and deliver quality outcomes. This approach helps them develop both technical skills and professional confidence. And ultimately, Project Trinity is not just preparing people to look for opportunities. We are preparing them to create value, participate in global projects, and become contributors to the digital economy.
Wow, that's amazing, Max Miller. Thanks for sharing that. So, Project Trinity does not just deal with practical work. Like now, practical work may be sitting somewhere in a folder. No, we are dealing with a real output for real clients. So, and that has an effect that goes far beyond the individual associates. It ripples out in the whole community. Yeah, and that's one of the mission of Project Trinity, to empower rural communities and also to elevate economic empowerment. So, Mercy, maybe you can share with us, as your work changed, how your family or community sees you or sees tech work in general.
Yes, it definitely has, Valerie. Before, many people around me saw technology as something that only happens in big cities or was only for a few professionals. They didn't really imagine someone from our community like me working with global teams or using digital skills every day. As they started seeing the work I was doing through Project Trinity, their perspectives began to change. My family became more supportive because they could see that this wasn't just learning about computer, it was real work with real impact. They became proud of what I was doing. In the community, people have become more curious. They ask questions about the opportunities available. And I think this one we have given out. How they can learn digital skills and what Project Trinity is all about. I think that's one of the biggest challenges. It shows people that your background doesn't define your future. With the right opportunity, training, and support, someone from a rural community can contribute to work that has a global impact. And that's inspiring others to believe they can do the same. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, Mercy. Your background does not define your future. Yeah, and that's what Project Trinity is doing, making us like, although we're coming from the most rural part of the world, where we were born, where we were raised, actually does not define our future. Because right now, we can work globally. Like we can communicate even to people globally around the world, and also we can share our ideas with them. So this is a shift that Project Trinity has made it happen and come true. So, and we all know that this shift in perception. Mercy, what you are describing, or what you've just described at a personal level, we are seeing it repeat itself in community after community. So, Max Miller, talk to us about the wider pattern now. What changes have you seen at a wider community level, either in a youth, local government, community pride, because of associates like Mercy?
The impact of Project Trinity extends far beyond the individual associate, because when one person gains access to technology and opportunity, it creates a ripple effect throughout the community. And when young people see someone from their own village or community learning advanced digital skills, working with technology, and participating in a global opportunity, it changes their perception of what is possible. It replaces the idea that opportunity only exists in major cities or outside the community. We have seen increased confidence among youth, greater curiosity about technology, and a growing belief that talent exists within underserved communities. Families and communities begin to see education and digital skills as pathways towards economic transformation. And for local leadership and community stakeholders, programs like Project Trinity demonstrate that the right infrastructure and investments, rural and underserved regions can become active participants in the global digital economy rather than just consumers of technology. And associates like Mercy become example of possibility. Their journey inspires others, build community pride, and show that transformation can begin with one person being given the right opportunity. Yeah.
Wow, you've stated very well, Maximila. And I know that youth watching, we are youths and we are watching this global work happening locally. We are experiencing this at the first hand. And that's a generational change happening in real time because of Project Trinity empowering us. But none of this holds up unless the clients on the other end trust what they are receiving, because we cannot work with clients and then they don't trust us. So, and because of the trainings we've acquired skills, and yeah, our clients, all of our clients, they trust us with the work. So also to those who are listening, yeah, Project Trinity is the best, and you can trust us with anything that you can offer us to help you build. So, and also a disclaimer, I want to pause here and bring you, our listeners, into this. Earlier, Mercy described how our community perceptions changed. So, and also, I want to see the comment below. As anyone in your life, maybe a friend, a sibling, or a neighbor, surprised you with by what they built once they got to the right opportunity? Tell us their story in the comments. If there is anyone in your life whom he or she lacked an opportunity, and then when she got an access to an opportunity, then he or she built something that made you feel surprised. Yeah, maybe you can tag that person in the comment section, and also so that she can feel appreciated, and also you can state what was that project that was built. Yeah, so let's move to the next point of discussion. Mercy, what's it like knowing your work is going to a real client abroad? Does that pressure change how you approach a task?
Yeah, sure. Knowing that my work is going to real client abroad definitely changes the way I approach every task. It reminds me that what I'm doing matters. That real person or organization on the other end relying on the quality of my work. Of course, there is some pressure, but I see it as possible pressure. It motivates me to pay close attention to details, communicate clearly, meet deadlines, and always strive to deliver my best. It's no longer about simply completing an assignment, it's about building trust and representing not only myself but also Project Trinity and my community. One thing I've learned is that professionalism isn't determined by where you come from. Whether you are working from a rural community in Kenya or a major city anywhere in the world, client value quality, reliability, and consistency. Knowing that my work has a global impact inspires me to keep learning, improving, and giving my best every single day.
Wow, keeping your best every single day. That's what really matters. Clear communication, and also being oriented to detail when working with clients. And that's what, as Project Trinity, we do. We deliver. Yeah. So, and that sense of responsibility Mercy just described, that's not something we live to by any chance. That's something that we do here. So Max Miller, these are all structure behind making sure that trust is earned every time. So how does Project Trinity make sure client trusts clients trust us, or the trust of clients is all up? And what standards or checks are in place so clients know they are getting global quality work?
Building clients' trust require more than having talented individuals, and it requires a system that ensure consistency, accountability, and quality. At Project Trinity, we understand that clients are trusting us with their projects, their businesses, and their goals. So we have created structures that support professional delivery. Associates do not work in isolation. They operate within teams where they receive guidance, mentorship, and technical support from experienced leaders. Projects go through review processes where quality, accuracy, and timelines, client expectations are evaluated before final delivery. Project Trinity also emphasize professional standards, including communication, teamwork, problem solving, responsibility, and understanding the needs of clients. These are skills that are essential in the global marketplace. And our goal is to ensure that when a client work with Project Trinity Associate, they are not simply hiring someone with technical knowledge. They are working with a trained professional who understand how to deliver reliable solutions at an international standard. Yeah.
Wow. Quality, reliability, measurable results. That's what keeps clients coming back. And that in turn is what keeps this entire model of Project Trinity standing on its own 2 feet. And we keep on going. So Mercy, let's talk about sustainability. Do you think of your role as a job here at Project Trinity, or as something, or part of something bigger than sustains itself over time?
Okay, Valerie, thank you for this question. I definitely see it as something bigger than just a job. A job is important because it provides income, but what we are building through Project Trinity goes beyond that. And hope you can see that, Valerie. It's about creating opportunities that can continue to impact people and communities for years to come. Every task I complete contributes to a large mission, helping build systems that connect talented people with meaningful work, regardless of where they live. That's powerful because it creates a circle where today's opportunities can lead tomorrow's opportunities for someone else. That's perspective change how I approach my work. I'm not just thinking about finishing a task, I'm thinking about contributing to something sustainable. If we do our work with excellence, we build trust with clients, create more opportunities, and open doors for more people in our communities. To me, Valerie, that's more than a career. It's being part of a mission that has the potential to transform lives across generations. Thank you.
Wow, something bigger that sustains itself. That's true, Mercy. You've basically just defined our entire business model in one sentence. Yeah, and that's great. And hope our listeners are following. So, to our listeners, I want to share with you a short story of what it feels like when you work with Project Trinity, when you work with us. So, when you work with Project Trinity, you are not just receiving a service, You are becoming part of a model that connects global clients with overlooked talent. Every project completed is more than a deliverable. It's a proof that talent can come from anywhere when opportunity reaches the right places. So also a message to our clients or those that we're currently working with them. Yeah, we will also love to see your comments. What has, if you are listening us right now, what has surprised you most about working with talent from communities you may never have had access to before? Yeah, maybe you can share them in the comment section. And also back to the listeners listening to us right now, to our followers, please, we always have this podcast on Wednesdays at this time, 3 p.m. Eastern African time, and also 8 a.m. EAT. So we'd like you to always follow us, always, yeah, subscribe to, we are always live on Facebook and YouTube. So we'd like you to subscribe to our YouTube and also keep following us. Yeah, let's make it this podcast reach 300 subscribers. Thank you. Yeah, so let's continue. And also, if you have any question that you like to ask us, yeah, we are seeing we are checking the comments. If you have anything you want to know about Project Trinity, what is it about? You want to know more? Yeah, just ask them in the comment section, and definitely will answer your questions. Yeah, thank you. So let's continue with our discussion. Yeah, Max Miller, can you explain how Project Trinity is built to be self-sustaining, investments turning into a production and revenue, not a donation-dependent program?
The vision behind Project Trinity is to create an economic ecosystem rather than a temporary support program. Investments play an important role in establishing the foundation, building infrastructure, providing technology access, developing training systems, and creating opportunity for associates. However, the long-term vision is production. Associates are not only learners, they become producers who create a real value through their skill. They participate in projects, support organizations, develop solutions, and contribute to economic activities. As projects generate revenue, that value can be reinvested and into expanding the systems, supporting more associates, improving infrastructure, and reaching more underserved community. The difference is that we are building a model that where opportunity creates productivity. Productivity creates value, and value strengthens the entire ecosystem. The goal is sustainability, creating a circle where communities are empowered to generate their own economic opportunity.
Yes, Max Miller. And I can also add, here at Project Trinity, investment becomes production, production becomes revenue, and the revenue becomes reinvestment. That's the cycle. And it's not about the handouts. And a cycle like this doesn't have to stay in one place, actually. We have to move to different places, different overlooked communities around the world. So, quick one to everyone is listening before we go any further. We know that one third of the world still lacks reliable internet. Where do you think Project Trinity should go next? Yeah, drop the name of your community, of a community. Maybe it could be your own community in the comments. We might just come find you. Yeah, Project Trinity, we are flexible and yeah, we are advancing globally. Wherever you are, we are coming for you. drop in the comment section. Maybe next time you will find that the pod is has been brought there and Project Trinity is there. Yeah, we want to see them in the comment section. So let's go get back to Mercy. Mercy, if a friend in another remote community asks you, could this work where I live? What will you tell them?
My answer could be, of course, yes. I believe it can. Every community is different, but one thing is the same everywhere. There are talented people who simply need the right opportunity. That's what Project Trinity is all about, connecting potential with opportunity. I would tell my friend not to focus on where they live, but on what they are willing to learn and contribute. If a community has people who are eager to grow, a willingness to collaborate, and support from local leaders, then this model can make a real difference. I have seen how access to technology, training, and meaningful work can change lives. It doesn't just create jobs, it fuels confidence, develops skills, and gives people hope for a better future. So, my answer is yes, I would encourage them to believe it's possible. Great opportunities don't have to begin in big cities. They can begin in any community where people are given the chance to learn, work, and dream bigger together. Thank you for that.
Wow, Mercy just made the case for replication better than any pitch deck could. Thank you, Mercy, for that. Yeah, I think that friend of yours or has just understood that wherever they are, any location, any geography, yeah, they can, they, anything could work, like anything is possible wherever you are with, and the Project Trinity is here to elevate you. So, Max Miller, is she right? Is Mercy right with what she has just said? Can this actually travel? Practically speaking, how modular is this model? Could it actually scale to other underserved regions? Max Miller, you can share with us.
Okay, scalability is a fundamental part of Project Trinity design. From the beginning, the model was created with the understanding that many underserved communities around the world face similar challenges: limited access to technology, fewer economic opportunities, and a gap between talent and global markets. And the POD models provide a flexible structure that can be adapted based on the needs of each community while maintaining the same core foundation: connectivity, training, production, and economic empowerment. Whether the model is implemented in Kenya or Haiti or another underserved region, the principles remain the same. Communities receive access to technology, individuals develop relevant skills, and those skills are connected to real economic opportunities. And at the same time, each location can adapt the approach based on local realities, available resources, and community priorities. This makes Project Trinity not just a program for one location, but a scalable framework for unlocking talent where, wherever it exists.
Wow, for sure, Max Miller, what you've shared is incredible. And we all know that one third of the world still lacks reliable internet. So when we talk about a model that can be modular, adaptable, and built to operate in places where traditional infrastructure struggles to reach, we are talking about something much bigger than what you two have shared. your stories. We are talking about the possibility of taking what worked in one community and adapting to other hundreds communities, perhaps even thousands so of others. Different communities faces all different challenges and also different have different people. So but the same fundamental principle, talent is everywhere and opportunity should be able to reach it. So Mercy and Maximila's journey gives us a glimpse of what that future and could look like. But the real question is no longer whether this can work in one community. It's how far can we take it? How many communities can we reach? And how many lives can change when geography stops being the barrier? That's a food of thought to everyone listening right now. Yeah. So last chance before we close. We are almost wrapping. So to our listeners, in the comment section, this one is for you. Finish this in one sentence. I'm going to read you a sentence and then I want you to finish it in the comment section. And the sentence is: talent is universal, opportunity is not, but it should be, because you have to finish there. You have to finish the blank space. Talent is universal, but opportunity is not. But it should be. The opportunity should be. Because of what? Yeah, we want to see them in the comment section. Yeah, I want to read some of these comments. Maybe in our next podcast. Yeah, because we are always live on every Wednesdays. So, Mercy, looking ahead, what do you want your story to prove to the next associates who joins Project Trinity after you?
So, looking ahead, I hope my story proves that where you start doesn't determine where you can go. You don't have to come from a big city or have every advantage to make a meaningful impact. What matters is your willingness to learn, stay consistent, and make the most of every opportunity. To the next associate who joins Project Trinity, I want them to know that it's okay to start with questions or even a little anxiety. We all begin somewhere. What makes the difference is showing up every day, being open to learning and believing in your potential. I hope my journey shows that growth is possible when opportunities meets commitment. If my story inspires even one person to believe in themselves, work hard, and keep moving forward, then I will feel that I have contributed to something much bigger than myself. That's the legacy I want to leave.
Wow, that's amazing, Mercy. And we all know that there are communities, there are many communities there outside there filled with people waiting for the chance to learn, work, create, and prove what they can do. But it's only that they don't have that access, which Project Trinity is is bringing to communities. So that's amazing, Mercy. So, and also to that associates who joins after you, I think he or she they'll come, learn, and work globally, locally, but offering their skills globally, which is an amazing thing today. So, as we are about to close out, Max Miller, how would you describe in one line what Project Trinity is ultimately trying to prove to the world?
Project Trinity, Project Trinity is proving that talent exists everywhere, and when people are given access to the right tools, technology, mentorship, and opportunities, they can compete globally, create value, and transform their communities. For too long, geography has determined access to opportunity, And Project Trinity is challenging that idea by showing that someone's location should not limit their potential. We believe the future of the global economy should include everyone, not just those born near technology hubs or major economic centers. And with the right infrastructure and support, individuals from underserved communities can become innovators, professionals, and leaders who contribute to the world. That is the ultimate mission of Project Trinity, to close the opportunity gap by turning untapped talent into global participation. Thank you, Valerie.
Wow. Thank you both. So, Mercy and you, Max Miller, maybe before we leave, any last comment, advice that you'd like to leave to our listeners right now?
So let me go first. I can say thank you for the followers who are following us. Thank you very much. And today's conversation reminds us that talent exists everywhere, but opportunity creates the path of growth. Thank you.
Okay, what I can remind the listeners today is let's use the internet positively, not negatively. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Let's use the internet positively and not negatively. So, Mercy, Max Miller, thank you. What you put just given us is not just an interview. What you've shared is not just an interview. It's a proof that talent does not need permission to show up. It just needs a door. And today you've shown us what that door looks like. So we opened it today by saying talent is universal, but opportunity is not. But if there's one thing that I want everyone listening to walk away with, it's this: that the gap is not permanent. It's not fixed by geography, and it's not fixed by luck. It's fixed by infrastructure, by solar panels and satellite dishes, by AI native training that doesn't wait for a classroom, by people brave enough to say yes to something the world had not built yet. One thing, one third of the world still lacks reliable internet. That is not a footnote. That is the size of the opportunity in front of us. And if a pod can change one community, it can change 1,000. So here is our challenge to everyone listening. Whether you are a business owner, you are a parent, a young person with a skill nobody's discovered yet, or someone who simply believes geography should not decide a person's future, get involved. Reach out. Ask how you can be part of this, of what's being built here at Project Trinity. Because Project Trinity was never meant to stay in one place, it was built to move community to community, region to region, Kenya, Haiti, the United States, and wherever it's needed next. To Mercy and Max Miller, asanteni sana. Thank you for sharing your story with us today. And to everyone listening, until next time, keep believing that talent, wherever it's found, deserves a chance to be seen. This has been the Project Trinity podcast. Tutaonana. We'll see you again. Bye.
Bye.